Hi everyone, it's Sweet Kid here. I hope you all having a great week so far. It's Saturday, and I'm bringing to you the second episode of my series called The Prestige Cup Showcase. Now, admittedly, I have skipped over one car being the Huracan Starato, and while that is a good life racer, I will note that it is a bit difficult to control, so I kind of omitted it from being featured because this car has a very short 7th gear, so after you shift to 6 and go to 7, slowing down is a bit of a challenge with this guy. So I did leave it out, and I did do some testing with the current Prestige Cup car right here, the Porsche 911 Rallye design package. And the best part about this is you don't need any stage 6s to make a good live racing tune. So without further ado, let's look at my tune. Now, this car has what I call the Supra treatment because the Supra lacks power a lot, and as such, engine, turbo, and intake have to be at least level 3 if you're going to get the most evil out of this. Nitrous is going to be level 2 because you need to get off the line really quick. You don't need body, surprisingly, to my testing. Tires, level 3, so you can tune the tire pressure. And transmission only needs to be level 4. Opposed to level 6 for most live racing tunes. Now, you cannot trust the bars on the left very often, but the only one you can trust is shift time. And when stage 6 does not show minus 100, it shows something like this, minus 50, it's not a very good stage 6 part to have in the car. So as such, you can rock stage 5 or stage 4 and still be good. And with this car, I've rocked a stage 4 transmission. Now, if I were to, let's say, go to my Huracan Starato, as you can see, it's running a stage 6 transmission, and if I go stage 5, the difference in shift time is 100 milliseconds, and that's a lot. Whereas on the 911, all it reduces it is by 50 milliseconds, so I chose not to use it. And personally, I felt that even with stage 6 transmission, it just doesn't outweigh the the benefits, because it does increase your PP by a lot. So I didn't do it. Instead, I just kept the regular transmission. And another thing I will note is that this car also has a very interesting launch. You cannot launch too soon, like close to the perfect or good shift indicator. Instead, you have to launch about 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs because this car has a little too much power, so you have to start late, as I do with my BMW M5, and these are one of the few cars that you have to pay attention because you cannot put your needle where the perfect and good start is to launch a car, else you're going to be in serious trouble because the car is just going to wheel spin. And another thing is, I actually forgot to show my dyno time, so let's hop back in, and here it is. And another thing about this car that makes it really good is that it can beat dyno. As you can see, my current tune right here has a 10.592, but if I were to run it, I believe I can run close to something 10.4, low 10.4s. Let's have a look. Like this, and it launch like this. Shift a second and nitrous, then just shift until 6 and you're all good, like so. Let's see. Oh, it ran even faster than I thought I could. So mid 10.3, that's pretty good. So this is something you might want to keep in your back pocket, and this is what makes this car better than the Huracan Starato, because the Starato can beat dyno a little bit, but it cannot beat dyno to this extent. Beating the dyno by at least 200 milliseconds is very good, and it's probably something I would say keep it just in case someone raises a bet. So if they do raise a bet, you can just go faster than your dyno, take that win, and boom, you're rich. So let's go again, start here, shift a second, and I'll go to 5th, but be careful because if I ride 5th all the way out, I'm actually going faster than my dyno, so I will slow down like this, boom, 10.6, and I've won. And yes, I will also add a part that When you first take a car into live racing, so the first time you build a car, you take it into live racing, it will automatically be advantageous no matter how high or low the PP to EVO ratio is. It's just a thing the game wants to give you a false hope on what the lobby's like. So if you keep running the car all out, all out, all out, it's just going to bump your car and ruin everything. And when it does that, your car needs to be down bumped, and it's not a fun process. So I might have said it before, please just run as fast as you need to go and not any faster. If there's 200k on the line, I can see a reason for running faster than you might usually run. I usually do it myself to give myself a little cushion in between so I don't run too close and I might lose, because I have lost bets this way because I tried to slow down but it just didn't turn out very well. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. And I don't know why recently a lot of the lobbies that I've been getting in are just not filling in like this one. I'll go back to live, not go back to live, go back to the garage, tweak stuff around, and we'll see if I can possibly get into a different lobby. So let's see, I put body on here and doesn't really do much, but hey, I should be in a different lobby by now, so that's good. Okay, yes, I got moved. So this lobby is the same one my M5 is set to, about 10.6, so I will anticipate most opponents to run around 10.6, so I'm prepared. So let's see again. Boom, second gear, shift, one more shift, and let's see. Okay, slow a bit. Boom, I'm pretty sure he ran at 10.6, so I was bang on. 10.5 and 10.55. Okay, I was pretty close, I would say. Not exactly close, but very close. So that's the estimate. So I'm going to try and move stuff back because again, I don't like having too many cars lobby in the same bracket. It is nice to have it because I do have two Corvettes that lobby into the same bracket, but that's just so I can use one to test and make sure the other one has been bumped. As you can see, another thing is that even though my PP and Evo are a little different from the first tune, I'm still in that lobby. So this might be because this tune that I had initially was closer to the end, and by doing this I'm just in the same lobby but I'm just handicapping myself. So I'll put back the original tune, which is body stage 1, and we'll hit right back in. And oh, that's pretty odd. Another thing is that I'm trying to lower my averages. So even if I'm not necessarily bumped, I will challenge a bot just so I can run slow on purpose because they run super slow. So let's just write this out, probably in third gear. And now shift up. And one more, I think he's catching. I might actually lose this. Yeah, I ran too slow. But hey, I ran slow enough, and that should just flash the game into thinking that I'm not that fast. And here we are, this problem again. Okay, so I've just demonstrated that this car can run 10.3s, mid 10.3s in a lobby where people run 10.8. So that's really good. But try not to run that 10.35 or 36 in these lobbies. If there's a bet on the line, go for it. Else, don't. And another thing I will say is that you might notice in my footage that I don't challenge people like this guy over here with win-loss because I do not swap. Yes, I know swapping is very effective, but the goal of my videos is to prove that the car is good in life, and usually when people swap, it's one win, one loss, one win, one loss, and they're not necessarily always going all out. So as a result, it's just going to be me just skipping over these guys. And since this is a case where this Porsche just cannot find anybody, I might as well just show off my Sterato. And this is a second grade car. I still prefer the Porsche to this guy. Dyno is 9.8, low 9.8. So let's see how fast I can run this. And I haven't driven this thing in a while. So let me see how I drive it. I'll do this like this and this. And this is the part that I don't like because it's 6th and 7th. It's very close. So slowing down is going to be a bit of a pain. And as you can see, this thing doesn't beat dyno as much. About 20 milliseconds compared to 200 with that Porsche. So as a result, I keep this guy around for, let's say, situations like you saw at the Porsche. If there's no one around, there's no one around here either. So it's a bit disappointing. It really is, because as of late, the lobbies just haven't been as full as I like them. So a bit annoying right there. So yeah. Alright, I'm back here. Let's see if this guy doesn't want to race me. Alright, so I recognize his Nissan. He doesn't ever want to race me, so I've stopped trying. This McLaren F1, he'll just keep refusing later on, so let's decline that. Okay. I'm going to try and put it in a slower lobby, so give me a second. We'll just put stage 2 everything. And yeah, I will note that, as you can see, the Evo is just going to just plummet when I do this. Because, then again, stage 3, I believe stage 3 turbo is the secret sauce. You can see it went up by 100. And yeah, so regardless of what you're trying to do with this car, because you can use my tune as like a template and go off on there, but please, if you're going to do so, keep stage 3 turbo on, because this is one of the few cars I can think of besides the Challenger SRT Super Stock, the 2024 Nissan Nismo Japan spec, and this guy. They are the few ones that need that turbo attachment. Else, it's just going to run pretty badly because of the lack of Evo. And I could have run faster with this guy, but I'm just not in the mood. This guy's just a dyno beater on the right, so I'm not here to race someone who can just beat dyno like crazy. Again, I'm just here to demonstrate my car and my tune is pretty dominant in life, so yeah. And I should check the time of this tune that I just used before I slipped my mind. So 10.86. I may have run under my dyno, so yeah. This car is just not so suitable in lower lobbies. So 10.8, I would say is this car's sweet spot. It's not going to do too well in other lobbies, but this one, absolutely not. So let's decline this guy. I want to try this Porsche once he gets out of whatever he's doing, be it gas or he's racing somebody. And yeah, I just apologize for so much downtime in between races. It's just a lot of people I've recognized their names and I know they don't want to race, and so I just try to race people that I have never met before, so we can at least have a fair shot. Calliope, he wants to race me, so that's sweet. And decline. So yeah, you have to be prepared also that such things can happen. It's a bit disappointing, I will say, but it is a part of live racing CSR2, because most of the time someone will just challenge you, and if you win, it's unlikely they will challenge you again, because no one wants to get beaten down twice. And yeah, it's pretty disappointing right now that no one wants to challenge me again. I don't mind racing this TVR, but it seems like he doesn't want to race me. These two are just having a decline race over and over again. Okay, worst to worst, I'm going to try experimenting in a 10-second lobby. So let's have a look. And yeah, really, no one's coming. So let's go back to my upgrade screen and let's put on more parts. And I don't have all fusions, I will note, because I have just completed that Porsche Dominance event, and it was pretty hard on me, so let's just put on some other parts. I'm aiming for at least 660 661 pp, so let's try it out. 661. Okay, all right, there we go. My dyno is 9.8. This should lobby something like that Strato, so let's have a look. All right, there's no way in hell I'm gonna beat this guy, because this is the most recent season price car, the Bugatti Mistral, and it's one of the highest Evo to PP cars you can get. At this point, I assume he's only at 640, around 640 PP, but he probably has about 2.6k Evo, and yeah, he's likely not challenging me, because what he's trying to do is to goad me into challenging him, and when he does, he'll raise a bet. I'm pretty sure of that, so I'm not going to use that, and I'm just going to use the Strato and see if indeed these end up in the same lobby. So apparently not, so I will go back. And yeah, this is another thing you may want to do if you have plenty of live racers. Right now I have about 40 that I alternate between, but I typically only use about, I'll say 12 or so, because yes, it's nice having a lot of live racers, indeed, I will admit that, but to memorize how each of them drives, this and that, it just gets a bit annoying. So as a result, I just stick with a few, namely my Corvettes, my BMW, my GTRs, and my Audi. And looks like, yeah, from what I remember, this should be a 9.8 lobby, so he will run around. That Bugatti is just a real pain to deal with, excuse me. So let's just go back to this. We try putting a higher body upgrade, and we'll see how this goes. 662 pp, 2.1k Evo, and who do I get matched with? Yeah, it just cannot find people, so it just briefly puts AI in there, and it just backs out, so not very good. Yeah, sorry for the constant downtime. It's really hard to find people to race, because it's a bit inconsistent, because like when I'm not trying to publish a video, yes, I can find people like crazy and it's laughable, but again, see, when times like this, oh okay, I do have a Challenger. This is one of the better tier 4 cars, except for Tempest, of course, but here in live it can be quite deadly. And I need to be careful, because I believe this can bust dyno too, but it's really challenging to drive because it has a lot of gears, about 10 gears if I'm not wrong. So let's see how fast I can go, and let's just hope I win. Alright, slow down a bit, slow down. Oh, it's not good. I run around, yeah, it's not good, because he's running around my dyno, so again, I just don't feel this car performs too well. I'm just trying to show that yes, I can win. As you can see, I ran 80 milliseconds faster than my dyno, so I will be on the lookout to see if this car gets bumped. Hopefully not, because again, that'll be a pain, but I will happily down bump it if need be. Hopefully not, but we'll see. I'll just keep monitoring it over the week until this thing comes with Prestige Cup. Alright, let's see if this guy wants to race me. I'm just desperate. I'm just dying to race someone right now, and he will. And he's a good indication if I get bumped or not. So, see, if he runs 10.8, 10.7, I know that I'm not bumped. If he runs anything faster, I know I'm kind of screwed. So let's slow down a bit. He ran around, I would say 10.7, 879. Let's see, 7.7, around there. So yeah, I haven't got bumped yet. And this is another misconception I just wanted to touch on while I'm talking about my 911 right here. Just because you ran under your dyno and you see you're not bumped, it doesn't mean you got away scot-free. And this is why I am a bit nervous and a bit worried that I did get bumped. So I have to constantly monitor my opponent's run times. And the easiest way is to challenge someone like this guy that I'm racing right now, that's in a 3-star elite tuners car. So the ones that are the GR Supra, the most common one, the Ford Mustang GT, the Silvia S15. What else are there? The McLaren 720S. That's another one. The Corvette, the 2020 Corvette Stingray. What else are there? The Honda. I don't see the Honda being used very often. The 992 NSX Type R. That's another one. And the recent one, what's that one called? The BMW M4 Competition. And the 2 Lamborghinis, the Aventador Ultimate, and the most recent that guy drove, the Huracan Evo. As long as you see someone in one of those cars with about 3 stars, maybe 4 stars, you can challenge them, and usually they run all out because these are new players, and typically what they run is what the lobby bracket is. Like this guy over here, in a 3-star Supra. I'm gonna challenge him, and let's see if he wants to race, because some people, you can see, some people just don't want to race because they might judge based on, I don't know, the Tempest logo next to my name, the RP cost, and this guy, I'm not going to race him because, again, he's one of those guys that I did try to race before and he doesn't want to. So I just declined because I'm not in the mood to have a game where I just keep declining someone and they keep challenging me. And while on the topic of this is another thing you might want to practice, which is what I call live racing etiquette. When you challenge someone and they don't want to race you, please leave it at that. It might be a mistake because something you can mistap. So if you at the very most challenge them one more time. If they decline a second time, it means they just don't want to race you. Because I've had people I've declined them, and guess what? They just keep clicking challenge over and over and over again. And what's irritating about this is when you're challenging me, let's say you keep doing that, no one's able to challenge me. So you're just making me experience downtime. Whereas when I'm trying to challenge somebody else, this is what I do. I challenge them once. Like I said, I challenge them once. If they decline, I may try a second time if I just want to race someone and I just have the urge to drive my car. So I will do it. And if they decline, I'll just say, oh, this guy just doesn't want to race. It's cool because I can understand it. Some people just see a certain car and they just don't want to race. All right. Okay, these guys, let me see. Okay, the M5 competition this guy on my right has, it's not a very good live racer. Not to be confused with the M5 CS, which can do some serious work in the slower lobbies around 12.1s. The Hoonigan, what's this thing called? The Cosworth. It's really, really good because just like my Porsche over here, you do not need a stage 6 transmission. This thing can shift really ridiculously quickly, even in stage 5. So you need to be careful of this guy, this Cosworth, because everyone got it for free as long as they logged in and took part in the Can Block event. So just watch out for that. And again, it's another case of just me experiencing some downtime. It's a bit frustrating for me right now, honestly. I mean, because this little video is getting a bit long, so I'm going to just go back and see if my Strato can at least get some races, because it's clear this guy is just not getting any races on the ideal tune that I have for it. So hopefully I just find someone to race. And yeah, this guy, okay, I'm not going to challenge this guy because he just has been rejecting me over and over and over. Okay, this Acura right here is a very deadly live racer if you're in the super slow lobbies around 12 to 13s, because there's a special tune. But in here, I highly doubt it. At the very quickest, he's going to run around 10 seconds. So let's see if I'm right. 10 seconds car for him. Oh yeah, 10 seconds. So yeah. And this is again why I don't like this Strato very much. it's a bit unfortunate because the 7th gear is just too quick. So it's just like the Artura. That's the only other car that I can think of that has a similar final gear. So yeah, the Storato is by no means a crappy life racer. If you wanted me to pick between this and the Supra that you get for free, I would absolutely pick this because I don't know why the Supra just doesn't lobby very well, despite being able to get really, really good Evo and PP. So I stopped using the Supra. I did test it out a little bit, but I just didn't really like it. So I just shelved it aside, and I do remember switching over to the first live race I really got was the Regera, and I never looked back, and I just forgot about my nitrous. Damn it. These things happen. And this, to some extent, this opponent that I'm racing, this DB, I believe it's the DB12 Volante, it's also a very good live racer because it has a similar shift to my Lamborghini right here. But the only difference is that one doesn't have a short final gear. It shifts just normally like any other car you'd expect. So it's pretty easy to control, and it does pretty well if you tweak it to 9.7s, because in those lobbies pretty much everybody is running a maxed out tier 4 car. So if you can make your car just go a little bit faster, you're pretty much just all set. But the only exception I will say is the Ford, what's the thing called? The Dark Horse. Because the Dark Horse is the quickest tier 4, and as a result, it throws things off a little, because up against a fully maxed, fully elite LC 500 or the Honda NSX R, the tier 4 one, not to be confused with the Elite Tuners tier 5, against those two, the Lexus and the Honda, you can just beat them. So yeah, and I would say nitrous is pretty necessary in this. I don't use it because I just felt that nitrous isn't as crucial on the DB12 as the Storato, but yeah, you can use it if you want, but I just chose not to because that car can attain crazy EO. It has, I believe mine has 660, so it's 2 pp lower than my Storato right here, and it can get 2.3k of EO. I remember I made it 2, 3, 4, 5 because it was easy to remember. Okay, this guy doesn't ever want to challenge me, so let's just get out here. And before I end things off, we'll just try the 911 one more time. I do just genuinely just want to show, because it's not a matter of racing a car once, winning, and you think, oh, it's great because I won. It's more than that. Just because you won a race once, it doesn't mean that car is any good. Because as I brought up earlier, when a car is brand new that hasn't been live raced before, it has automatic advantage regardless of the PP and Evo ratio. What it needs is time. And if you can use that time and reuse the car over and over and over and understand what it really runs like now, because I'm well over the initial phase with this car, and now I'm just facing regular opponents instead of ones that I get advantage on off the bat. I can get a better understanding of this car. So you can see he's struggling to keep up, and boom, he ran around, I would say 10 point, well, he ran a bit faster than I hoped, 10.666. So yeah, I believe that sums it up about my Porsche over here. You can use my tune again right here as a basis to go off on before you take this guy into live racing. So engine turbo intake are level 3, nitrous level 2, body level 1, tires level 3, and transmission level 4. And this assumes that for all of these, you have fitted the fusion parts for this part that's being used and the ones preceding it. Else you might not experience the performance that I have been showing off. So as you can see, nitrous all the way right, final drive and tires all the way left. So this is a very basic tune. And the final thing I want to show off before I end this is that what made me know that this was a good car off the bat? Well, we set everything to level 3, as you can see. So this is what usually we do, because when the car is level 3, this assumes that we've bought all the upgrades and we're waiting on level 4s. So at level 3 only, what I did was I just played with the sliders, as you can see. So when I saw that the Evo at this point was nearing 1.8k, I knew that it's pretty good and I can expect that this thing's going to do well live. So what I did was that I did spend a little to rush a stage 4 transmission. So when I got the transmission, as you can see, the PP did go up, but if I have another slider to play with, it crosses 2k at this point, which is not very common for a Prestige Cup car. So when one comes along like this and I see this, what I do next is I check the dyno. So right here it says 10.390. So what I do next is I check out how the car shifted on YouTube, and lots of people right there, they're setting these records. So I see the records and I know how to shift it, and I adapt the car based on that. So what I do is I shift the car like the videos do, and it's like this. It just runs all the way out, as you can see, 10.2. So I knew at this point that this car can also beat dyno, and that's how I conclude that this is going to be a good live racer, and it turned out to be. And I will note that this is also one of the few cars, live racing cars in my fleet that I do not have a stage 6 part for on that live racing tune. And simply, I would say this is just because of pure coincidence that the transmission, as I brought up, isn't as effective as most other cars, because like I said, this is why I call these Supra, because the Supra treatment has stage 3 for engine turbo intake, and the transmission doesn't do very much, so we don't use the final stage 6. And that wraps it up for everything I have to say about my Porsche 911 over here, and a little bit for my Sterato. So I might make a fully fledged video based on the Sterato in the future, but time will tell. If I can make that thing easier to drive, definitely, but as it stands, it's just going to be a backup car. As for my thoughts on the 911 here, what would I give this car in terms of a ranking? Because I do have a ranking system. I do tier my car, so I know how good each one is. And this car, I would say it's almost an A tier, because this car is just so good. You don't need stage 6s. It can beat dyno, and it can get low PP, high evo. But when I was looking at it a second time, it's a Porsche, and newer players are just going to struggle because there aren't any Porsches you can buy for cash. But the more you play, Porsche parts are going to be really common, because you're inevitably going to get the the 718 Boxster, the Caymans, there's a Vorsteiner and a regular Cayman from tier 3, the tier 5 911R, which is just crap. And if you get others like the 911 Turbo S 991, not the 992, 991, or something like the what's the one Dana drives in the campaign, the 911 GT3, I think that's the one. Yeah, if you get that, because those cars are just crap, just strip them, and there's a chance you would get the epic parts. And the epic parts are the problem here, and I feel those are what makes or breaks a great live racer, because often those will be a little short, because I did have enough of this car, but the Porsche event just took them away. So yeah, I just made do with what I have, and surprisingly, I didn't need too much to make a killer live racing tune. So do keep this tune in mind. You can modify it based on how you feel you could improve it. So yeah, that basically sums everything up. I do love this car. I would say it's A- in terms of how I tier my cars, because it sits between A and B. It could have been an A, but the parts and the availability is just drags it down a little bit. But don't let that get you down. If you have enough bronze keys, feel free to invest in this car because it can be a good life racer. And if you're new, you're likely best off working on one good life racer and using that as your main car. There's no shame in using just one car for a long time, because even me, I will consider myself a more advanced player, but when it comes to my favorite car, it's still my M5 sedan, the 2024 model. And I have no problem using that because it's a car I'm comfortable with. It makes RP and I'm just happy with it. There's no need to worry about getting many cars. Just get a good car that you can make a good life racer, and just save your resources, and that car will just be your best friend when it comes to making RP. So that's my advice, my thoughts on my car, a little bit about my Cerato out of the way. So that sums it all up, and thank you so much for listening to this really long rambling session. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care, everybody.